Hello friends, I hope you're doing well. So for today's video, I want to go over what I consider possibly the most broken Marvel character you most likely have never heard of. That being the one, the only, Doop. Yeah, that's right. So before we begin though, quick shout out to the coffee shop gang, of course. Great content creators, I'll link down below. Be sure to give them a watch, a sub. But without further ado, let's get to the broken ass entity known as Doop. So, who is this green bean looking ass who is apparently so damn powerful? Well, to begin, Doop is a marginal, extra-dimensional, mysterious pickle-like ass who resides in Doopland, a place beyond Doop space, well beyond the margins, well above the real stories taking place within comics themselves. I'll get to this, I know that's just a brain fuck. So, one must suspend all believability to fathom the idea and workings of the margin, the space which crosses both any amount of the real world and real story. Borders are obviously irrelevant since we're past the comic itself at this point. Such a space, often also referred to as the marginalia, can completely bypass any comic's narrative when need be. Also referred to as Doop space or marginalia, it primarily serves as a space that begins when any story inevitably stops. This is Doop's turf, yet is even transcended by his home of Doopland, which was shown with the second scan. So Doop space can permanently contain entire massive finished comic lines, like the early 1990s Aesthetics run, which he was once a crucial part of. That was his first beginnings in comics. In the depths of the marginalia rest the echoes and ghosts of the living or once lived, not restricted by time period or place. It even hosted Stan Lee for a set period of time. Yeah, you heard me. Most likely omniscient in Doopland, Doop has instant knowledge of the most obscure cases on a whim. This would make sense within Doop space since he's well above the entire narrative at this point, and in doing so, most likely gained completely awareness of the whole story unfolding. Here, he shows his fourth wall awareness and breakage, with instant knowledge onto where the story is supposed to progress properly, taking Wolverine there, who's kind of one of his bros. Beyond the margin forms new residences, catering to everyone's taste and mood, whose stories has ended within Marvel. This should cover every story that ended within Marvel. Doop has technically had to know about each ended story and character that takes place within this, since he kind of runs it. He was instantly able to sense Logan being hurt in the real world when personally busy in Doop space doing work. Plot manipulation is evident for his asking Logan to put a little Doop in his ear to help him forget what's necessary, so he'd be able to be correctly integrated back into the plot, how it's supposed to go. Doop proceeds to then jump in everyone else's ears, including Professor X, to stop their fighting. And just lose their memories and allow Logan's return as it should be. An additional hint of heavy plot manipulation shows that if he truly wished to be with Kitty, who's kind of his love interest, he'd cease residing in the margins and casually write their romance into the main plot line, next time saying they'd be the main story, because in this one it was kind of the lesser part of the run. So moving on to a trippy ass run. Doop contains within himself some sort of nightmare dimension at all times and somehow is able to traverse this by twisting himself into a minuscule body while still having his normal body present in the real world somehow. He can solo multiple other Doop clones of himself easily. Obviously, this shows size manipulation, and he can digest people into his minuscule avatar while already in himself. So don't even ask me how you're forcefully gonna try and get out of that, being engulfed inside him, inside of him, inside another dimension. He contains the literal comic they're currently experiencing, shown in the middle left with that artwork in the title, Perhaps Doop is writing these comics as they go, or already even has, since they're like, even before the story has concluded, the comic is there. And we're only like halfway through the story, but it's there somehow. So he's probably already passed the whole entire comic. He eats the entirety of another comic shown here, just casually. And other dupes kind of like adapt to the comic as, you know, they show the bras and shit. I don't know, it's mad weird. Besides this, he can traverse the depths of his dimension numerous times at bare minimum infinite speed, but it's probably going to be immeasurable, while knowing the exact locations of each member and able to save them from their respective nightmares and dangers. Shown here, you know, drowning in acid, just saving him quickly, or, you know, getting her tongue back, or, you know, he's getting feasted upon by all the Zoops and it just saves him. And this is, he's able to save everyone within less than a minute's time. And once he finishes it all along, it's so fast, not a single member of the ecstatics, once freed and like back chilling, remembered or even assumed anything like just happened. Like lol. They're just looking at him like, yo, are you hiding something? What just happened? So that's how fast he did everything. So we can see more of like Doop's fucking weird ass like anatomy when Danny, poor Danny, temporarily fell victim to Doop's stomach, while Doop tried to save Danny by eating him for a little, like when he had a frag grenade. He also passively contains the early 19th century Russian novelist Nikolai Gogol, who was known for his surreal and grotesque work, because why not? Perhaps that kind of relates to Doop. Big if true here, he has been stated to be the strongest X-Men character to ever wear the X within the comics of Marvel. Yeah, you heard me. He can emit blasts with enough power for his brains to travel from Russia all the way to Asgard. And it's just insane. And this was just completely casual to him. So after this, like Captain America stated they've only seen a tiny fraction of the awesome power of Doop and what he's capable of. Even when literally half brain dead, relying on the backup brain he carries in his ass, I'm not joking, Doop still throws hands with classic Thor and blitzes him. He tanked Mjolnir point blank and absorbed it like it was nothing, even saying it was quite tasty for such a hammer. What the fuck? So after his absorption, he produces and spits out countless identical legit Mjolnirs, retaining their original abilities. They were all equally calling and flying to Thor, who was completely confused about which one, you know, was like his worthy soul hammer, negating a critical part of what makes Thor Thor. Think about this context for a sec. Like, what if Doop absorbed the Infinity Gauntlet and spat out countless Infinity Stones, affecting the greater Marvel plots and flows as we know them? Like, this shit can be broken after like the cosmology and like flow of how like Marvel stories could go. Like, Doop can like really break shit. And for some massive drip points, he was said to have a rep of making Doctor Doom cry, just casually. And lastly, he obviously like has many lesser feats, like mainly serving as like a master telekinetic and telepathic partner for Cable. But you know, it's more important being a prime cameraman and like global sex symbol. Those are always the more important factors, you know what I mean? So yeah, that is Doop for you. He is one broken motherfucker that no one gives him respect for, and it's quite sad since he is the Jelly Bean God. And I think I might do verses with him. I will do some research, maybe Gwenpool. I think that'd be kind of interesting. We'll see. Give me your thoughts. But yeah, that's just a quick Doop overview since no one gives him respect. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace, everyone.